Welcome, and God bless each and every one of us. Over to Dr. Eunice Yeboah-Marfo.
Hi, everyone. Dr. Titi in the making said. My name is Dr. Eunice Yeboah-Marfo, and welcome to this program. I am happy you are here. We are here to learn a lot. And before we begin, I would like to introduce our first speaker, who is a senior at Cornell University, studying biomedical engineering with a concentration in biomaterials and drug delivery. She is from Pittsburgh. Currently, she is a Ryan Scholar, the vice president for the National Society of Black Engineers, the chapter at Cornell. She is also the vice president of the Nigerian Student Association, the outreach chair for the Black Biomedical Technical Association, and a member of Building Ourselves Through Sisterhood and Service. She is passionate about her arts, social justice, and mentoring youth interested in STEM. So you can see that this person has all the qualifications she needs to be able to speak to us about how to be in college. And this person is no other person than Orielua Olaore. And I leave the platform for her at this moment so she can talk to us. She's going to talk to us for a few minutes. And then I will come back in and introduce the next speaker. Okay, so our sister, you can take the floor now. We can give her a hand of applause for everything that she is.
My name is Aura. Very excited to be here this morning and to answer any questions that anyone has in regards to the transition from high school to college. Like was mentioned, I grew up in Pittsburgh and went to Pittsburgh Kappa High School. And so I'm in my senior year at Cornell University. Thank God, I'm almost done. And so some of the things that I've done on campus has also been mentioned, but I'm really excited today to just talk about the process for getting into college, the things that some of you students can do if you're interested in STEM, and just like ways to prepare for your SATs, essays, as well as just gearing yourself up for that transition from high school to college. It's been a difficult journey, but thank God I'm almost done. It's definitely a change from the structure of high school when you get into college, but it's something that you'll eventually get used to. And as long as you use your resources on campus, create your community, as well as just try your best in everything that you do, you should be fine.
Oh, so I thought we're expecting you to tell us one or two processes we can do. All right. You hear me?
Yes.
I said, I was thinking that you're going to give us a hint of one or two other things we can do before people start asking some questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I was part of a pre-college program at the University of Pittsburgh's engineering school. And so through that program, I used to take summer classes where I would just do the classes that I would be taking the following school year, as well as an engineering course. And so I feel like it's always very important to keep your summers busy while you're in high school, and not just stay idle during the summer. if it's trying to get involved in a summer program at a university, or possibly taking summer classes, or even just like volunteering within your community. It just shows that you are being active, as well as the fact that you're like engaging yourself throughout the summer and not just like being idle. And so I think that's something that really helped me going through high school and also going into college, because some of those things that I did is what I wrote about in my college essay. And so there are always opportunities that you can find for like summer programs, where it could just be like a 2-week STEM program, or a program at the university about whatever field that you're interested in, whether it's engineering or pre-med, some arts and science courses as well. So yeah, I feel like that's something that's very helpful to do. And then in terms of preparing for my essays, I think the Common App essay is always the first essay that people write, which is like the general essay about yourself. And so just sitting down and thinking about like what really makes you as a student, what makes you as an individual, and what are you passionate about. In my Common App essay, I wrote about just my culture as well as my faith, because those are two of the most important things to me, and two things that I feel like really make me as an individual. And so just expressing how much my culture has impacted me growing up Nigerian, as well as growing up in church and having a relationship with God, and how that like formed the home that I was brought up in. They like to see just like you bringing in your personality into your essays, as well as just like explaining a little bit of background info on yourself. So yes, you're this great student and you have A's and whatnot, but also like just bringing in that personal aspect so that they can see you as a well-rounded individual is also a good thing to always put in your applications as well. So I think those are two, top things that I would recommend starting off before we get any more questions.
Okay, that's fine. Dr. Eudice, over to you. I guess she's done.
Okay, thank you, Ori. Our next speaker is he's from Pittsburgh as well, and he attends Penn State, Pennsylvania University. Actually, the Pennsylvania University, not Penn State, sorry. He's at the main campus. He is in his third year majoring biochemistry and molecular biology. He is part of the Millennium Scholars Program, a research-based scholarship program for STEM students. He is also an active member and a treasurer of MAPS, which is Minority Association of Pre-Health Students, and National Organization of Black Chemists and Chemistry Engineers. He plans to attend medical school and residency and become a doctor. So his motto is just do it. I guess he's going with the Nike brand. He's no other person than our brother Emmanuel Olayiwola. He is also going to talk to us about things we need to know before we get into college. So, Brother Emmanuel, you have the floor now.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel Olayiwola. In addition to that wonderful introduction, I wanted to say some more about myself. And so I'm Nigerian, and I grew up in a household of 5 with my 2 younger sisters and my 2 parents, sometimes a household of 6 if my grandma came to visit. From an early age, I always knew I wanted to go into the medical profession. So college was never not an option for me, right? And of course, because I'm Nigerian, it was also never an option to not go to college as well. But for that medical degree, I obviously had to go to college. And so I went through the same process as, I'm assuming there are high school kids here, right? I went through that process of elementary school, middle school, and then where you're at, high school. And so when it came time for me to apply to college, I did something that I don't recommend everyone do. I only applied to 2 colleges, Pitt and Penn State. I knew I wanted to get away from Pittsburgh, from the city, in order to like be on my own and be independent and kind of take responsibility for myself. But I think because of COVID at the time, and I was getting very lazy. So obviously I'm here at Penn State, and that is because of a scholarship I got into, which they had said in my intro is Millennium Scholars Program. And so because of me preparing for that program and me getting into that program, that is the reason why I went to Penn State. I know Ore said before that not being idle in your high school years is during the summer and even during school is very important, because making those experiences for yourself and having your own kind of experience that makes you different from everyone else is important in those college essays, like she had said before. Because colleges want to know what makes you different from everyone else. Why should we accept you and not someone else, right? So all glory be to God. That's my short and sweet process of getting into college. But I also want to talk about what college is like and how it differs from high school. So I guess I can start talking about the classes. So the classes in high school, you have all your classes in one time span, about 8 hours, right? In college is very different. We make our own schedule, right? We choose our own schedule. So classes in high school, maybe 1.5 hours, going up to 2 hours in my high school, at least. Now the very regular class time in college is at most 50 minutes, right? And so that goes into my next topic, time. In college, you have a lot more time on your hands to do honestly whatever you want. And that goes into like making time for studying or making time with hanging out with friends. And so you're on your own, you have your own independence, and you're responsible for what you are going to do. So it's really up to you.
Bro, he will be having this thing in 10 minutes. You cannot be part of that.
So it's really up to you in order to, keep yourself accountable and do what you need to do in college, because the professors aren't going to coddle you like they did in high school, right? In high school, you're used to maybe 20 to 30 people in a class, and college is going to be more like 200 to 300, at least in the beginning stages of your college career, because you're taking more general classes, right? And so it's really up to you in order to go to the professor, go do what you need to do in order to be successful in your college career. It really hit me about my independence in college, maybe around my second semester of my freshman year, where it was really like my own decisions affect my own life. Like I won't call my parents and ask them for advice on every little thing that is happening in my life, right? It's really up to me and what I want to do and where I want to go. And so just knowing that will help you kind of guide you and make like your pathway right through college. So to end it off, I want to give some advice. Don't do what I did, apply to more schools for college. And even if you plan on going to community college, it's not a bad option at all. You save a lot of money, and there's something called the 2+2 program that a lot of schools offer. And if you're not ready for university yet, you can go through that. The second thing I want to talk about, or advice I want to give, is really, really getting involved in your first years of college. I made that mistake where I kind of just stayed in my dorm my whole freshman year. And I mean, I made friends, I had friends, but I would never really go out and join organizations, organizations that had my own interests in mind. And I never really grew. I never really got to network. And so networking is something very important, something that can help you in the future. And I would advise you to do that, which you can do that through joining orgs. My last thing I want to talk about, my motto, just do it. That can apply to a multitude of different things. Just do it can, and I know I stole that from Nike, but like thinking about it, I read or heard from somewhere that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And so that really resonated with me because truly and honestly, everything that you don't go for, you obviously aren't going to get, right? It really only comes down to trying. And so I want you to not sell yourself short and always go for what you want and always go for what you believe that you can succeed in. And so that's pretty much the advice I would like to give to everyone. If there's any questions later, feel free to ask.
Hey, thank you so much, Emmanuel. I will go ahead and introduce the next speaker, who is a junior at Michigan State University, where she's pursuing her degree in neuroscience and a minor in Chinese. She is originally from Lagos, Nigeria, which is a huge part of her identity and has shaped the way she interacts with people and views the world as a whole. This person has an interest in the field of medicine, specifically neuroscience, stems from her curiosity. Did anyone say anything? Okay, so that stems from her curiosity about the human body and ways to resolve pain, her passion for learning, and her meeting and helping people. Priscilla is the person I'm talking about here, and she has worked in a research lab that looks at chronic pain for more than a year. Alongside research, Priscilla serves as an intercultural aide, an e-board member for MSU, as one of the 2023-2024 Dean's Research Scholar, and as a peer mentor for the Charles Drew Scholars Program. A quote she lives by is, "Make a commitment to grow daily," which is by John C. Maxwell. After graduating, she intends to apply to medical school to further her knowledge of the human body and progress towards a career as a physician scientist. So help me welcome our sister, Oluwabusola Ajagbe.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that introduction. I really appreciate it. Once again, my name is Oluwabusola Ajabe, but I go by Busola. And like was already stated earlier, I am from Nigeria originally, and I have moved around a couple of times. I lived in Michigan for a bit, for like 5 years, where I went to high school, specifically Berkeley High School. And then now I go to Michigan State University, which is in East Lansing, majoring in neuroscience with a minor in, Chinese. On campus, some of my other activities I do is being an intercultural aide, which has been a very big aspect of my college experience, as it has gotten me to interact more with people and to get used to the differences that come with going to college. Aside from being an intercultural aide, being in the Charles Drew Science Program has really helped me to connect more with people who are like-minded like me, and as well as interact with people who also have the same goal of either going to medical school or vet school or dental school, and just understand that, yes, I do have this community behind me and with me. Some of my hobbies aside from that is just like being in my room and just being by myself, because being an intercultural aide really takes a lot from me mentally, as I have to constantly interact with people. Even though even though it is fun, it is mentally draining. And because of that, I just like to take the time to be by myself, watch a ton of shows or like anime, and just de-stress. Can I get what the question is again that I'm supposed to be answering? I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You're supposed to be telling us how you got into college in the first place.
Okay, like I said earlier, I went to Berkeley High School, and for my experience, because I came directly from Nigeria and I started ninth grade in Berkeley High School, it was a very different experience for me as I knew nobody in Michigan prior, and I had never been acclimatized to what high school looks like in America as a whole. So getting into school and like knowing that I have to do these different classes, just seeing that the class setup was different from what I was used to, how like I guess the culture of the high school is also different, and how teachers teach is different. Like for example, Nigeria, it's less of application-based questions, whereby in like America, it's more like application-based questions in high school. That I really struggle with in my ninth grade, as it was very different, I would say. And going into 11th grade, because being the first person in my family who's like in high school in America, and I have to write this exam that I was just introduced to, SAT, it was really nerve-wracking to know that I had to study for that exam and like do well, and that it would actually have a big, well, I would say a big impact on like the schools I get into. It was very nerve-wracking. And I would say I went through a study program with Princeton Review to just know what the exam's about, how to study for the exam. And due to that program, I believe that it really helped me improve my score for the SAT. And not in comparison, while applying to college, I applied to so many schools, I think over 20 schools, which I think was too much of schools to apply to. But then again, I kind of put all my eggs in one basket, which you should not do, as I applied to mostly reach schools, like 15 reach schools, then with like 2 safety schools and 2, what's the other one? Wait, no, not reach schools. 15 target schools, 2 reach schools, and like 2 safety schools, which was a terrible idea for one, as I mostly got rejected from a ton of the target schools, which had a very big mentally draining and bad, which was a very bad experience for me in general, as like I was very discouraged and like very like I almost like went into a state of like not believing that like I would get into college because of my decisions. But in all, God showed himself mighty, and I got into Michigan State University, where I am right now. And yeah, what was the second question? I feel like I'm just rambling, but what was the second question?
Oh, there's no first, there's no second. You just have to tell us your process, and you started telling us about the processes. Other people might want to know how you got in, maybe how you wrote your letter, application processes, test taken, and all the other things that you went through before you were accepted into college.
Similar to what Aura said earlier, I also used Common App for my application, where I wrote a ton of like your personal essay, like what Aura said earlier, and a ton of like supplemental essays depending on the school you applied to. And I think because I was considered international as an international student, I also had to fill the what's it called? It's skipping my mind, because FAFSA is the one for domestic students, while the other one is called dang, I forgot I forgot the name. Oh yeah, the CSS profile, because that's a different platform where you could apply for scholarships depending on the school you're going to if you're not an American citizen or have a green card. So I did apply for that, and through that you also like had to fill a couple of documentations which would help you like get different like fundings and scholarships for the schools you're applying to. Aside from that, I guess getting letter of recommendations from my teachers in school was very helpful also, as it's also required for some colleges. Then like Aura and Emmanuel said earlier, you being active in school, like different activities you do in school and what you do over the summer also helps to increase your chances of getting into the school you're trying to apply to. Well, thank you, and I will answer any further questions later.
All right, thank you, Priscilla. So now we open the platform for questions. If you have any questions that were not answered yet,
I guess we still have one speaker.
oh, hold on. Oh yeah, the fourth person. Let me introduce the fourth speaker before we go on to the questions. Okay, so our final speaker is Tosin Balogun. He is an associate dean, and he's going to be talking to us. He's at the Wayne County Community College District. He's going to also give us bits and pieces of information about how we can apply to college, what to expect. And then after that, we're going to open the platform for questions. And I can also jump in and give a few inputs here and there. All right, so the platform is yours, Oluwatosin.
Yes, thank you so very much for the introduction. And I must commend the organizers of this event. This is so needed in our community. And my prayer is that we'll have more strength and ideas to do more, even in the future. So thank you again for having me. It's very humbling. I've been with the college for about 10 years right now, and I've only been in the US for 12 years. So this has been my life in the US. And one thing that I've come to realize is that applying to colleges and universities in the US, it's a very challenging thing, challenging process to go through, especially when you don't know. For schools that are very blessed with a lot of good counselors that have guided students over time on how to apply, it's so good. But what about students that didn't go to high school in the US, that just came to America and all of a sudden they want to go to college? No counselors to talk to, nobody to guide you on what to do. And you are almost on your own. You depend on information that you get on the internet, or sometimes you try, very difficult task, to call schools to ask, basic questions. When you do, they just refer you to their websites. Oh, every information is on the website. Just go ahead and do it. And sometimes you are stuck. Sometimes you don't even know what to do. And that's where the challenge really, really comes in. So, but hello, can you hear me?
Absolutely, sir.
Oh, okay. So that's where the challenge really comes in. And over time, what we have been able to do is to kind of create a program for students that will find themselves in situations like this, where you didn't go to high school here, so you're not really exposed to applying to colleges and universities applying for scholarships, and we'll be able to bring them together through international student organization in a way where we'll give them all the valuable information that they would need to apply and be successful, at what they choose to do. So a case in point is myself. When I came to the US, the whole idea was to go to school. I wanted to go to school, even if I was going back to Nigeria, I didn't mind. But I wanted to leave America with a degree, and I maybe go back to Nigeria and find something to do with it. And I started to apply to schools, and at the end of the day, it became too expensive for me to do. I knew the program that I wanted. I know President Obama once said that the most painful thing in life is knowing what you want, but you can't afford it. And sometimes, that right there can be very, very depressing, where you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a nurse, but you cannot afford it, and the resources are not there for you to get it. Where do you turn to, and who do you go to? And that's where the whole idea for me as a person would say that community college will come into play. If you have the scholarship to go to a university, please don't even think twice about it. Take it, go for it. If you don't, please hear me. If you don't have it, either as a result of your grades or as a result of the school you attended or as a result of whatever it is, find a community college around you. And that's another pathway to scholarship. Find a community college around you. Now your fate is in your hands. You can do well at that community college, get a good grade point average, and apply to a university that will take you at your second year on a scholarship. That's another way that you can do all of this. So don't feel bad if your initial application or your initial shot at a scholarship did not happen. It's okay. Go to a school that is reasonably affordable, that you can afford at that particular time. At Wayne County Community College, for example, where I work, our tuition per semester is only $2,500. Some students don't even pay up to that. So you do that, even if it's for a year, it's fine. One thing that I know for a fact is that everybody is not going to get to their destination using the same route. If you know your route, go for it. If everything works out good for you, take it. Again, don't think twice about it. If you are not at that point where you have all the resources at your beck and call, then look for another way. Dropping out of school, dropping out of college is not an option. And that shouldn't be an option. That shouldn't even be a thought. And sometimes it happens, but don't entertain it. So what that means is you go through a community college, find a program you can do, even if it's Associate of General Studies, even if it's Associate of Science. Take all the prereqs that you need for this big program that you want to do at a university. Take them at what? $150 per credit. It's the same college, it's the same professor, it's the same education, it's the same curriculum. Yes, schools are richer than one another. I get that, but you still get the good education that you want, get a good grade point average, and transfer that to a university and see how the scholarship will come. See how schools will be interested in you. Nobody is taking a guesswork on you anymore. You have been through college. They know who you are, not someone that is coming from high school that they don't know. Sometimes students do well in high school, they don't do well in college. I don't know. I haven't done any research to know why, but I know the environment also contributes to it. Again, it's a good thing. If you are doing well there, please keep it. And again, don't think twice about it. But I'm talking to students that may not have all the opportunities, that may not have the financial capabilities to attempt a university admission at once and get it. So do the community college, take 20 credits, 30 credits, build your stamina when it comes to college education, build yourself up, and be ready to take a shot at a university and study that program of your choice. And it is very possible. So If you have everything that you already want in your school, please put your best. There are a lot of opportunities out there. When I came here, I did a community college first. Then I went in for university education. After that, went to law school and got a PhD in education and all of that. So it's there's no route to success that is a problem, as long as you get there, and all you need to do is just have the right character. Like someone once said to me that you need three things to go to school in America. You need money, you need time, and you need attitude. If you have the three, nobody can stop you. And that's the truth. Nobody can stop you from achieving your dreams. You have the time, because college education requires time. You cannot have a time crunch and you want to go to school in America. You already know, except you want to just be an average student, which is okay too, if that's what you want. But again, we don't encourage that in our community, and we all know that. Another thing you need is money. It costs money. Nothing is free. Even if you have a full ride scholarship, somebody is paying for it. So think of money as a scholarship, think of money as parents, think of money as out of pocket, think of money as loans, think of money as financial aid, think of money as donations from church, donations from foundations. Money is coming from somewhere, and definitely you need the attitude. And what is the attitude? It's not a bed of roses. There are challenging times in college. There are classes that will challenge you. I know for a fact, when I was in law school, taxation was one class that really, really bothered me. And at a point, I thought I was just going to drop that class, and I needed it to graduate. So there are tough times during college. Just try your best possible to have the right attitude, even when the class is not comfortable, even when the professor is intentionally being unfriendly. Have the right attitude, and at the end of the day, success is guaranteed. And right attitude also embedded in it is knowing that everything that you are, everything that you will get, and everything that you will ever be is rooted in God. That's also an attitude. You understand? Everything. Yes, you can be brilliant all day. I have a lot of brilliant friends that are not doing anything with their degrees. So God in the mix, very, very important. And that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our brother. This was very informative. Okay, so we have heard a lot from these presenters. I just want to go over a few steps and preparing for college. So the very first thing I want to talk about is, in the first place, do you even want to go to college, right? So sometimes everyone is expecting someone to go to college, but the person themselves don't want to go, right? So the first thing you ask yourself, do I want to really go to college, or I want to take a different path? And I think our brother mentioned going to community college if you do not get into the universities straightforward. That can be an option. Another option could also be that they want to start their own business. We should also consider that if that is the choice for the child. If they want to start their own trade, we should allow them and guide them to the right trade. If they want to enter the military, that is also an option for them, right? No matter what they decide to do, as parents, we have to guide them and help them make the right decisions. If their choice is also to go to college, then we encourage them to maintain a high GPA, right? Because as we heard other people talk about, you need that GPA to get into the colleges of your choice. Most of them will be looking at who is the stronger candidate, right? Everyone is getting in hundreds of applications. Why should we take you, right? So to make your chances stronger, then you have to maintain a high GPA. And then the next thing will also be for you to take classes that will prepare you for college. So if you know what you are going after, then you have to talk to your counselors, right? Let them guide you as to which courses are needed for the kind of program you want to do in college. So you take those classes. Sometimes throughout the summer, you can take some courses. And don't forget that in this world, this age, people are looking for workers who can be multicultural, right? So you have to make sure you are getting yourself into that stream of people. Make sure you are learning about cultural diversity. Learning different languages can boost your chances. So the more diverse your classes are during high school, the more prepared you could be towards getting into college. You have to also engage in extracurricular activities. Colleges love people who do these things because it gives them the perception that you are a go-getter. You step outside of your comfort zones. You can, you are motivated, right? Self-disciplined to be able to go do some other things like joining clubs, sports teams, debate teams, being a member of maybe the band for the school. You are active in organizations. All those things push you up there, and they know you are someone that strives for the best, right? You are always going to get what you need. So they see that motivation in you. They see you as someone who will not give up halfway. You will succeed if they should bring you on board. So those also boosts your chances of getting into college. Then the next thing is also research colleges and majors. Before you go, you have to research and see which colleges are best for the kind of thing I want to be in future. I want to be a doctor, which institutions will see to it that I get through it as easily as possible, or will give me the best of information and will have the best programs for my major, right? So you research, check online. You can ask people about these schools. You can check their websites to see what they do and how they do that. And other students who have been there, you can ask questions and all that. Those are things that can help you make your decisions. Another thing that you have to do is to connect with your high school counselors, because they are the best people that can guide you throughout this application or the processes. They can tell you what you need or guide you throughout. Some of your classes might be so tough, you might not know how to break through them. Counselors are there to guide you. They are there to help you push through. Okay, so you need to improve your grades. They will help you improve them. They'll help you, give you best advice on career plans and all those things. So get involved with a counselor. Make sure you are talking to them and make use of them, because if you are in high school, you have paid for all those services. You need to talk to them to help you. And that's what they are there for. So don't say, I am a person of my own, I'm going to do things by myself. Use the services of your counselors. They will help you make top. Okay. And then also you will need to take the SAT. I know Bisola talked about that. So prior to filling out any college application, you need to take the SAT or the ACT if you are applying to a school where tests are required. Okay, so some schools don't ask for that, some do. So if you're going into a school that require that, you have to write it. If you get a high score, this can help push you up there, right? Your chances of being accepted will be higher. Before you take the test, also make sure that you are practicing. There are a lot of practice tests out there that you can practice with before you go take those tests. And another thing is that you attend college fairs. And those are very important. If you hear of any fair going on in a country, in a college, that you want to attend, be sure to attend, because those are places where you can also talk to professors, talk to counselors, talk to people, make sure you are asking about financial aid and college experience in general. Like you can talk to the students there and get a feel of it, know if this is the place for you or not. So visit the colleges. Okay, aside the fairs, visit the colleges that you want to attend. You can schedule those on their website and they will take you on a tour. Okay, so sometimes it's by a student or some representative. They will take you around to see the place. You walk around and see if this is the place for you or not. And then also research on the financial aid or the scholarships. All right. It's not every school that gives the best scholarships or it gives any scholarships at all. But if you do find one, it's a plus to you. So we'll research how much it costs to go to the school and how much scholarship they give, grants, and all that, and what are the requirements to apply for those scholarships, okay? And then you have to also apply early because there are a lot of people coming in. You would want your spots taken before other people start applying. So apply early. That way they see you as a good student. They're going to pick you and give you a spot before all spots are filled and you are not taken on because you were late. So please try and apply as early as possible. Okay, so now I think most people have questions. I saw some hands up and all. This is the time to ask all the presenters your questions. So I don't know, you can just unmute and ask your questions. If it's directed to me, I will come in and answer. If it's directed to someone else, they will answer that question too. Or if anyone has an answer to any of the questions being asked, that is fine as well. You can jump in and ask your questions. So. Okay, so our sister Modupiola, she said for colleges that are test optional, your extracurricular activity and GPA are extremely important to focus on. And she a website that we can go browse and get more information on. She said for seniors on this webinar, please click on the link above for SAT test dates and registration deadlines. Be sure to take the SAT on a date when your results will be available prior to the application deadline. Yeah, that is so true. You cannot apply before taking the test, or take the test right when you are applying, because you're not going to get the results on time for your application. So that is a very good advice right there. Okay, so please let your questions come in. We are here to answer them. Yeah, you can also type. If you don't want to unmute and speak, you can type your questions and we will get to it.
It seems like Johnson has his hand raised.
Okay. Johnson, you can come in and ask your questions. Sorry, I didn't see it.
No worries. So it's actually not a question. I want to use this time to commend the organizers of this get together. This is very, very interesting and is very good, especially for our community. This is what we need. Many of us, what we actually lack is information.
Right.
And many times when one doesn't even know what can be achieved, that person is going to be limited to a restricted existence. And that is what is happening, especially in the African community. And I want to thank the organizers for this. It's very, very informative. I learned a lot when Dr. Tosi was talking. It's very, very informative. When you also started talking, I said, wow, I wish that we have many, many people here. And I want to encourage the organizers I will do my best. I didn't know that it's going to be this very informative. I will try my best to, when next this is coming up, to let people know, people that can benefit from this. She sent it to me earlier, but I did a little, but I could have done a better job. If so, please let this not be a one-time thing. This is really good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
So as a first-year student in college, I actually have like 2 questions. So if you had to do college, like your freshman year in college over again, what would you do differently?
Okay, so I think the presenters will go first.
I can start this question. Thank you, Naomi, for your question. So I went into college 2020, which was the COVID year. And so I was on campus, but we were virtual for the whole year, which is very difficult because I'm a very hands-on visual learner and I like to actually experience what I'm learning, ask questions to the professor in person. But I feel like something that I didn't do as much as I should have was take advantage of office hours and tutoring. I did some tutoring, but I feel like meeting with the professor is definitely something that you should do straight off the bat, because that allows you to have some sort of rapport with the professor. And so once the professor knows your face, they recognize you. If you ask questions in class, they acknowledge that you're actually trying to learn and trying to be engaged with the class. And so they'll give you extra help. I know that's something that helped me at the end of my first year, when I was struggling a bit with my Calc 3 class. I went to my professor for office hours, and then she really sat down to explain some of the concepts to me that I was struggling with, as well as try to give me hints on things that I should study for in terms of the final. So whenever they see that you actually want to learn, that you're engaging with them, they'll reach out as well and try to help you as much as they can.
Okay, do other presenters want to say anything in addition to what she said?
I can second that. Yeah, Ora was right on point with that. And honestly, I had said this in my earlier speech, but get involved, get involved, because my freshman year, I had not got involved. I kind of stayed in my dorm the whole time. But even connecting, you don't have to connect with orgs, even just connecting with other people other professors, because like Laura had said before, going to office hours, you create a relationship with that professor and you show that you want to learn, you show that you actually care what they're talking about in class. And that makes them want to help you. You get a better understanding of that class, of the information. And honestly, in college, since it's your major, since it's what those classes are being taught to you, because you're going to use what you've learned in those in the real world, gaining a real understanding of that is important and kind of helps you with the rest of your life, right? Or whatever career you want to get into. So that, and just do it. Like I said, that was my motto. You know, in college, there's countless opportunities that you can get into, right? Orgs are just one. There's countless other things that you can get into, and professors have a lot of connections. So again, meeting with the professor, gaining a personal relationship with the professor, you can network around, right? That professor can connect you to other professors, can connect you to people in the career that you want to achieve, right? And so there's just going for it. Don't be scared. Just go for whatever you want to, whatever opportunities are lie in front of you, or even like go and search out for opportunities if none are like right in front of you. Yeah, that's something that I would say to any people coming into college.
Thank you, Ori. Thank you, Emmanuel. And I would say that what you would said, they're very true. As a professor, I would say that I always encourage students to come see me. And the reason being, most of the things that you have already mentioned. If a student is not grasping what is being taught in class, the times that they have to make amends is the office hours. But most students don't use those hours because, I don't know, maybe they feel that the professor would not attend to them, or probably they are shy, or they don't see the use of that office hours. I don't know what the reasons are. It could be numerous factors, but then that is not a good idea. I always encourage that you go talk to your professors, make sure that whatever your needs are addressed by them, because they are there for you. The office hours are not their time. It's not their personal time. It's a time to see students, right? It's set aside to see students, because not everything can be explained in depth in class. So that is a time that you can go for further explanations to things that you did not understand in class. And aside that, you also get to know the professor personally. And if there is anything, sometimes because of that relationship, you get extra chances, like second chances, right? Second chances that he or she might not have given to other people, you will get it because you went to talk to them, and they will give you that chance to remake an assignment or extra time to do something, right? But if you're not going to talk to them, then whatever rule is on the syllabus is what's going to happen to you. But if you're going to talk to them on a personal level, then maybe some of the rules can even be crossed out, and you can get, some opportunity to do something else to better your grades. So take that chance, go talk to your professors, let them know you on a personal level. If they can't help you, they can always link you up to other people who can. All right. So that is about that. And if there are no other questions, I have some questions here. Sorry.
Can I add to what you just said? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. That's okay.
Oh, okay. So there's one other area aside from meeting the professors and getting to know them, for referrals, for recommendations in the future. There's another thing that I've also seen that students are constantly missing is the whole idea of talking to advisors. It's a lot of students think they are graduating, and when they go apply for graduation, they are missing a class or two. So make it a habit I wish I knew that when I started. Make it a habit that if possible, every semester or every year, that you go talk to an advisor on campus and let them know the classes you've taken and what you have left to graduate. It's very, very important. It can be very disturbing that you think you're graduating in December and all of a sudden you are graduating in May of the following year. And you already have plans. There's a professional program that you're applying to, there's a deadline that you have to meet, but you're missing 2 classes. So please make it a habit in school that you constantly talk to your advisors and make them understand that all of this will have to. I don't know if every school practices this, but I know we do. The curriculum that was in existence at the time of admission is what the institution owes you by. That's a contract between you and the school until graduation. If the school had additional classes to that program, as long as you can prove that at the time of acceptance, and again, I don't know if this is obtainable in every school, it's based on policy, but I know my institution does it. If I was accepted in 2012, and there are 10 classes to graduate with that class or with that program, if the school had 2 more classes to it, that does not apply to me, period. Because I came in at the time that a particular curriculum was in existence, and that was the contract I signed with the school. Extra money for other classes, if they add in more classes and I'm willing to do it, maybe the school should pay for those classes. That's fine. So please know all of that so that, information, the more you know. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. These are very good. And okay, so there are some responses also in the chat. Modupiola said that I echo Ori's reflection. Go to office hours and tutoring. Determine your study style and stick to it. Do your assignments and avoid last minute studying like few days before your final. Don't overload yourself with courses. Okay, so these are very good advice. I was going to ask if anyone has any advice for the newbies, but she went ahead to give us more than we even asked for. So these are very good advice you can stick to. Usually students wait until last minute to start looking at what their grades are and what they can do to make up. Don't do that. You have to start looking at your grades right from the beginning. Check what you have to do in order to complete the course. Don't wait until last minute, like she said, because it gets to that point and it's overwhelming. Don't get yourself overwhelmed. Right when you are starting, you know your strength, you know what you can do. So if you are trailing behind, you know it, right? You don't wait until it's last minute. So when it's last minute and they ask you to do maybe a couple assignments to make up for your grade, and you only have a week, how are you going to get all that done and get a very good grade? It's going to be tough, right? But once you know you need something and you go get it, at least you have a little bit more time to get it done than wait until last minute where you cannot really put in your best. So that is a very good advice there. Please keep that in mind.
Oh, I had something to say, if that's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I think my advice is like, if possible, try to like already have your study plan, like how you study prior to entering college, because it can be tough if you already don't have like good study habits. I'm learning that right now. So yeah, just be able to like make sure you have your own like, you have a system of studying that works for you, basically.
Good. Yeah. I think usually Africans are like, oh, we are so good that even last minute we can just learn within 2 days and we are done, you know. But I don't believe in that system anymore. I believe in doing it gradually, like, take your time throughout the semester. If every night you plan to do 2 hours, 3 hours of study, that is very helpful. In the end, you get to grasp more than sitting at one time to do a lot of reading. If you have readings that are apportioned for you weekly, make sure you are doing them weekly. Don't wait until it's time to write a quiz on it before you read. Read before class. So you are in tune with the professor. When they are talking, you know what you are listening to because you have read, right? And that way you'll be able to ask questions that you were not able to answer during your readings. You'll be able to ask those questions there, right? So please make sure that at every point in time, you are in tune with everything that is going on. Don't pile them up. Okay, so if you are good with studying with groups, try and form a group with other people to study with. If you are good with just being by yourself, stick to that, right? And see how that works for you. Any other advice? Okay, if there is none, there is another question about how do you manage your time and find balance amidst all that you are doing? Okay, so can anyone answer this question? Presenters, those in college, how do you?
Okay, I can give a little quick tip. So I just had done this maybe 2 semesters starting my sophomore year, but really having a calendar, digital or physical, doesn't matter. Having a calendar and having a to-do list will really help you stay organized and stay focused in school. I always hated the idea of sticking to a calendar because I felt like things could always change and I wouldn't be able to stick to that schedule. And so like it would just be useless for me. But really sticking to a schedule, and like every time I have an event or someone tells me about an event that I plan to attend or something that I want to do, I put it on my calendar. Because every day when I wake up, I check my calendar and see, okay, what do I have to do? What events do I have today? And I check my to-do list. Okay, what do I have to do for the day? And so it really helps me stay organized and stay focused and makes me keep up with everything that I have going on in my life, not just for school, but for other things as well.
Thank you. That's very good. Anyone?
I also agree with what Emmanuel said. I personally have my calendar on my phone. I have a physical planner where I write down all my like homework due and everything. And then in my room, I have a board where I write down everything that's due for the whole week. So that's how I make sure to be on top of things and to know like what exactly I'm supposed to do every week. And I would say like, yes, it's good to have a calendar for like everything you want to do, but then it's kind of up to you personally if you want to plan out each hour of your day, because I know some people who do that and that works for them. But personally, for me, I like to have like the free room where it's like, okay, I could do other things within this like 2-hour gap I have, rather than having it be like per hour. And then I'm like, oh, I can't like change what I want to do. Then I can't be, for me personally, it feels like I can't be flexible if I have it for each hour. So rather it's like just the important things I have on my calendar, than any other thing that I can change. I'm like, okay, I could do that.
Okay, good, thank you. So that's what works for Bisola.
Also, just to echo what's been said, I think it's very important to use the calendar to just organize yourself. I also put in my schedule into my Google Calendar. And so I have all my courses laid out in my schedule, as well as the weekly meetings I have for the different e-boards that I'm a part of, as well as just other events that I may have, just so that like I see it and so I remember it, because it's very easy to just forget things whenever you have a lot on your plate. As well as at the beginning of each semester, I go through the syllabi for each of my courses and then write out the assignments and their due dates, as well as the exams that I'll be having in my to-do list for each course. And so every week I just go through that those to-do lists for each course and then check it off. Since I'm a visual learner, I like to just be able to see what it is that I have, and it gives me satisfaction to be able to check off the tasks that I have done. And so whenever I have that laid out, it helps me not to forget any homework assignments that I may have. And yes, the course may change due dates, or there may be an assignment that gets pushed back or pushed forward, but at least that you have the foundation of what your course looks like, because most of the times those homework assignment due dates as well as the exams for the classes won't change much.
Right. Okay, thank you, Ore. That's
Sorry,
what
and
we're
just to add on, Ore had reminded me, sometimes like a lot of events and stuff, when you want to get really, really involved, a lot of the things overlap. And so having a calendar is important to kind of pick and choose what you want to go to and what's most important to you. And kind of just organize in that sense as well. Because I know last year I had done my whole calendar for my syllabi or whatever, and some of the exams that I had matched up with class time. And so knowing that ahead of time and being able to address to my professor, because I know some professors don't like it when last minute, I can't take this exam, I have to take a makeup because of other stuff. And so just that's another way to stay organized and stay on top of things.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I like all the stuff that you guys do to keep yourselves in check, and to get your lives organized. Basically, calendars do help. And I think Ore mentioned looking at your syllabus. So make sure that all classes give syllabi. So check them and see what is due and when. And if you're a visual person, you can write them down. If you want to put them on your reminders on your phone, that is also another thing. So they can remind you maybe a day or two before they are due, and also on the day that they are due. Like these reminders can also help. And if you want to stick them anywhere in your room, that is also a helpful thing to do. And check on your blackboards, D2Ls. They all do have the reminders on there to show you what's coming up. Okay, so that is also another helpful way of knowing how to manage your time to get the things you need to do done. Okay, and aside classwork being organized, how do you chip in mental health days, like times that you relax?
How would you know?
So you go to concerts, you go for dinners with friends, family, like all the other things that you chip in. How do you do that? Do you always say, I have work to do for school, so nothing else? Like, how do you put extracurricular activities in between these things? Who is going? Do you do them or you don't?
I guess for me, it's changing up because my junior year is now a lot more busy than my sophomore year. But during my sophomore year, I wasn't really swamped with classes as I am now. And so kind of just the extra time in between, like Usola had said before, I wasn't really strict on an hour by hour basis on my calendar. And so I had time in between to, relax, get lunch. I don't read books. I was gonna say read a book, but like watch a show or something. And, the weekends I also had to kind of relax and do what I wanted to do as well. And so you can also create a calendar in a sense for those health days, because you know that like this week is going to be like a really, really tough week or really, really busy week. And so I'll schedule my Saturday for, just relaxation or doing what I like or hanging out with friends or going to dinner. And so that's something that I would say is important.
All right, good. Anything else? Okay, so I asked about that because mental health days or mental health times are really important in our lives because we cannot be working and not take some time for ourselves, right? So you have to put something on your calendar to also take care of yourself because you can't do anything without your mental health being stable. Okay, so try and relax your mind as well. Try and if you need to see a counselor, we have counselors on campus as well. I just wanted to bring that up for anyone who was wondering. You pay for those services. Go to the students center, student medical center. They have counselors there. If you want to talk to someone, just go talk to them instead of avoiding these. Now we are trying to get the stigma, of mental health issues. If you need to talk to someone, go talk to someone instead of avoiding that. So put that also on your calendars and try to not be so overwhelmed, because I know classes and all the other stuff that goes on campus or in college can put stress on you. And to distress yourself, please put in all these things and check your mental health. All right. Okay. So I think if there are no other questions at this point, there's a form in the chat. You can fill out those forms for us before you leave. And then our mother, Titi, can come in and round this up for us so we can all end the program here. Thank you everyone for your inputs. It was really well informing, and hopefully we'll do this again some other time and some other webinars for us all. Okay, so thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Eunice. I appreciate you greatly. And I want to say thank you to everyone that's joined, has participated on behalf of RCCG Streams of Praise and Raising Intentional Leaders. We want to say thank you for being a part. And this is just the first of the webinar we'll be having. And we're trusting God to have more ones on different aspects. And for us to round up, I want to say thank you to our presenters, to Dr. Tosin Balogun, to our sister Ore Olaore, Oroluwa Olaore, to Emmanuel, and to Busola. I want to say thank you. And to Dr. Eunice, I say thank you. And to everyone that's participated one way or the other, we're grateful. Thank you for showing up, because if you didn't show up, we'll just be talking to ourselves. So we want to say thank you for showing up, and we say God bless you richly. And as we round up, I would like to call on Dr. Modupe Ola Akinola. I don't know if she's still there, if she can round us up in prayer. Maybe she wants to say one or two things and round us up in prayer. Thank you, ma'am. I don't know if she's there, if she's still there. Yeah.
Really was hoping that I could just be the backseat person here and listen to everything, all the good stuff that's been done. Before I round us out in prayer, I want to say a huge thanks to Pastor Ajagbe for organizing this. I think there was a man who said he wishes he had known about this more early. He knew earlier, but he wishes he would have invited more people, because information is always knowledge. So for everybody who's been here today and stayed the 1.5 hours, thank you. We are going to pray. I don't do undergrad admissions. I do graduate level admissions to medical school. So it's been a real pleasure for me to be here and listen to what happens from high school into the undergrad colleges. And I look forward to a time when this webinar will include admissions to graduate level colleges as well, medical school, law school, you know, and all that, so that you all will know that you have role models, you know, along the continuum that you can reach out to, that you're never alone. Let us pray. Father, we want to thank you because you're good and your mercies they endure forever. Thank you for this young people who are seeking to become who you want them to become. Lord, I pray for them that you will grant them all divine direction in Jesus' name. I pray also for them that you will help them to be connected with destiny helpers in Jesus' mighty name. I pray you will fill them with insight, with understanding, and with wisdom like you did for Daniel. And that, Lord God Almighty, each one of them will soar high and their light will shine in this dark generation that we all are in Jesus' mighty name. As they leave this webinar, I pray, Lord God Almighty, you will remind them of everything they have heard. And that, Lord, as they prepare to apply to colleges or they continue on in colleges, that your presence will be with them, you will guide them, and you will help them make a success of their lives. In Jesus' name we have prayed.
Amen. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone. Dr. Eunice, I guess you thank everyone. It's over to you to thank everyone.
Of course. So thank you all for being here. Next time we probably will talk about graduate applications, and we'll get more into that aspect as well. Like she said. So there's more. Just stay tuned and wait for our advertisement, and please join us whenever we have these so we can all share knowledge. Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. Have a very good weekend. We'll see you again sometime. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. And please go to church tomorrow and join our service. God bless you.